flotation for your underwater lights and your camera system. And that's what we're going to build here. And before we get doing that, I'll tell you why you need flotation. I found out the hard way. I went down to the Philippines and I didn't take into consideration any flotation. I had built these two arms up here. They're PVC with fiber and they're really strong, but they're heavy. They fasten like that. The ball joint fits onto the 1/4-20 here. And I got these wing nuts here tightened down. Well, I got down there and I had two UK lights, one on each side. This thing is heavy as hell. Got a rechargeable battery in it. But now I got the Sea Frog, which is a lot lighter. Two Sea Frogs here, Endura. And also, I got down there and I'm swimming around. I'm having a hard time. And I went ahead and got a piece of bamboo, tied it on here. That worked out somewhat, gave me a little flotation. And then I went ahead and bought some PVC pipe down there, but it's a little thinner pipe than this Schedule 20 we have here. But I strapped them on there. I had good flotation. Got down about 60 feet. I heard a boom. Well, I thought, hey, what's happening? They must be, the Filipinos must be out here dynamiting for fish. They do that a lot. You'll hear that crack underwater, but it's more of a boom. So I went about another 15, 20 feet doing a little videoing. And all of a sudden, boom! I looked down and then I figured out where the boom was from. My two pipes had imploded. I'll show you a picture of them right here so you can get an idea of what they look like when they implode. Okay, well, they imploded, so now I'm back to finding some flotation. I went ahead and I bought a motorcycle inner tube. Tied it on here and it had it float on the surface pretty good, but when the deeper you got, the more it compressed. But it got me by. And also, when I got back here, the first thing I wanted to do is come up with a system, flotation system. So the first thing I came up with, it was this Schedule 40 pipe here. It's got two bolts that are potted in here. It bolted down to my platform here. And it's half inch, inch and a half threads right here. This is an 1.5 inch threaded plug, and this thing's got a 1/4-20 bolt potted into it that I connect my ball joint to. So I had these things, and I put this system together. I was over at Troy Springs when I was using these. I ran into another diver. He had 4 Hanshi lights, and he said, boy, I got a lot of weight I'm dragging around. And so after he got through the dive, I met him. He showed me his strobe arms. He had the ball joints at both ends. He had these foam, high-density foam pieces that he bought that fit on there. So that looked pretty good. So when I got back from the dive, I went on the internet and I looked on there and looked at all kinds of really good flotation for your lights and your camera gear and stuff. But they all had a ball joint here and a ball joint there. So what I don't want to have is have the heavy lights hanging there when they hand me the stuff in from the boat to this or whatever it is. I got them spinning all around loose and I got to adjust them and everything. I want something that fits permanent to my platform with these bolts right here, something I can take apart and when I'm going someplace and I can assemble it back on. And so, but I want a permanent mount. I didn't want 2 ball joints. I got 1 ball joint here and 1 ball joint here. That's enough to deal with. Tighten these down and then I swim around, a little bit of banging along, and all of a sudden they loosen up and they're aiming a different way. So anyway, that's what I've got here. So I put this together. Now this is 1.5 inch, Schedule 20 with a 4-pound foam inside there. That 4-pound foam has 90 pounds of compression and stuff, so it's going to add extra strength to the 20. But I want something a little bit. These things here, this is floating real good. It sits on the bottom. Now it just barely weighs maybe a pound. But I figured, well, I want a little bit more flotation, and so now I'm going to go ahead and use a 2-inch pipe. I'm going to fill it with foam. I got all my PVC fittings here. I bought all this stuff at Home Depot. You can buy it at Ace Hardware or any other hardware, but Home Depot has a Schedule 20 pipe. So it's a lighter pipe, and I'm going to fill it with foam and give it some extra strength. We'll get on with the process right here. I'll show you how I'm going to do it. We have all our parts here ready to assemble this flotation arm that will support the Hanshi lights. What we have here is these bushings that will slip fit into there, This will go on there. This will go on the top. And these fittings will go inside of here. Now, this fitting here, I'll let you take a look at it. It's got the 2 bolts going through there. And I've tightened them down real tight to pull them tight so they stay at a 90-degree angle. And if we can see inside of here, you'll see a little backup plate I've got of aluminum because the bolts were a little longer than I needed. So I figured that rather than cut the bolts off, I'd go ahead and use the bolts already. Now we're going to fill that with resin, and the resin gets around it. It'll seal them bolts so they won't turn when I'm tightening this onto my platform. So we'll put them between these two 2x4s. And now over here I got the couplings. These are slip fit couplings. It'll slip into here. And it's this is a 1.5 inch pipe threaded, and this is a 1.5 inch pipe plug that I've got my ball joint attached to by 1/4-20. It's a ball joint with a 1/4-20 female thread, and the 1/4-20 bolt is potted in there with epoxy or polyester resin. I forget which I use. That keeps the bolt from turning, and that's and this will screw into here, and it'll go into this thing. But before we do all that, we'll put it together, and then we're going to foam it in with 14-pound foam. That's got 90 pounds of compression, parallel compression. So we're all ready to go here. I'll mix up the resin. We'll go ahead and pot these in and go along with it, get along with our assembly here. Mixing up our polyester resin. Mix it up pretty good. I've already mixed it some, so now pour that in there just so it goes over the top of the bolts. Now what I'll do is I'll put these little patches of cloth in here. Soak them down, they'll be on the bolts. I've never had these things break loose, but and the reason I've got 2 of them here is because with 2 of them, it's not gonna, that arm isn't gonna ever have a chance of swiveling, spinning. It'll knock the air out of it. Now we got some fiberglass cloth in here around the bolts, give it some extra strength. Get the air out of there, and these are going to be really in there. They're going to be really secured real fine. So I've already put primer on these things. We're going to start assembling this stuff real quick. All the way in there. Okay, that's done. The resin's gotten hard here, the polyester. I don't know if you can see that, but if you look in there, you'll see the resin's got it coated pretty hard. And them bolts aren't going to move anywhere. So when we tighten these bolts up here, I'll loosen these up when they go onto my fixture there. When I go in there, my stand, there'll be 2 bolts holding each one of these down. But that's where that. Go ahead and put these in our couplings. Now, one thing I do is always check these couplings for labels or anything before you put them on, because if you got a label still there or something, it's going to cause a problem. Okay, that one went on good and tight. Anyway, these are my 2-part foam. I'll just check a quick, read the directions, and expands in 45 seconds. So I got 45 seconds to pour this into my fittings over there. And it says it does not react with oil, gasoline, or absorb water. That's a good sign right there. Okay, I've already mixed a little bit in here. I forgot to turn the camera on. But now we're going to do it all over again. I'm going to top it off here. And we got even marks on both of these, so we got the same amount. Let's see which one pours. This one pours a little bit easier, so I'm going to use it to... Okay, I'm going to start counting. I'm going to count to I don't know, 25, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I'm letting all the other stuff drain out of there good. Now I'll go ahead and mix it up. Now I'll just add a dab here. I think this is going to pretty much do it. You'll watch it take off now. Well, it looks like this one here is filling up pretty good. Coming right to the surface, it'll overflow. We'll just shave it off. This one here is pretty much done. Probably going to overflow in a second. I added a dab more. I'm not doing this real scientifically. Just mix a little bit at a time. I guess you could work it out, figure out the volume, the amount, and so forth like that, but I've got to, so I'll just do it little by little and mix it up. But this is going to catch up. It's going to boil over. And all I got to do is just trim them off, put the other fittings on there, and we'll put it back together, and that's it. Looks like we're going to, this one here is done. We'll watch it for a few more seconds. Okay, as we can see, we're finished here, so we'll shut that off. I'm going to let these cure out overnight, then I'll shave them off, and we'll put the other fittings together. Well, here we are. We're ready to put this together. These have been fitted in here, and I've got these indexing marks because when I put it in there, I want it to everything to be aiming the right way. That's why I put the indexing marks here, so when I put it in there, I'll secure it to the index marks. We'll take it out. We've got our foam trimmed away here. And there'll be a little airspace in here, but that's going to be where it's double tubing, so we don't have to worry about compression. So we'll do this one here first. No mistakes here. There we are, we're right lined up. That one worked out okay. Now we go to the second one. Put a glue in there. That one there is give me a little pressure on it. I want to make sure it hold it there for a second, because I built some pressure up in there and I had to push down on it pretty hard. But we got our indexing marks on there. We're all set here. I'm going to check this out, see how it balances out, how it floats tomorrow. We'll take it out to Troy Springs. I'll put my red electrical tape on here and my green electrical tape, so I know which one goes in which direction here, so the bolts index up. But this is good and solid now. I got my ball joints, will be able to work back here, but the whole thing will be solid. I'll be able to hold it. Okay, I just got through trying this guy out. It really worked out great. Started out with I think 1.5 inches or 1.25 inches schedule 40 pipe. Then I went to 1.5 inches schedule 20, then to 2-inch schedule 20 with foam in it. This thing weighs about ½ a pound in the water. It floats around real nice. The buoyancy's got it, keeps it upright, and it's really worked out great. Now you probably got some other ways you can do this. I've got some other things I've thought about doing it, but I hope you found this stuff. I hope you found all the information I've given you on how to do this informative and worthwhile. If so, please subscribe to my YouTube channel.